All right, guys, welcome back to another video. We have a couple of things to go over today to kick off the week. And if this is your first time here and you enjoy daily gaming news content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you've been watching for a while, which I see a lot of you have been, hit the subscribe to help the channel grow. And also check out Spotify. The link is in the description. But let's start off here with the thing that everyone has been talking about over the weekend, and that is Sea of Thieves on the PlayStation 5. As we know, Digital Foundry, whenever these games do get launched or do go on to other platforms, they do their comparison videos to see how the games do stack up. And as a kind of a theme, you could say, with the first party Xbox games from the four that were announced landing onto the PlayStation 5, the initial version of these games are seemingly slightly better in terms of their overall look and performance compared to the Xbox version. And you have to ask yourself, why would this be the case? And is this a good look on Xbox? And clearly the optics overall from the Xbox first party perspective would not be very good, as there should never really at any point be a game that runs and looks better on the PlayStation 5 versus on the Xbox Series X, especially from the first party Xbox studios. Now, Digital Foundry did their analysis and they found a couple of things here with the beta version, the closed beta version of Sea of Thieves on the PlayStation 5. And there are some very minor differences they even do mention in the video, which seemingly nobody on social media with all of their console warring really says, but they do mention that these differences are really only noticeable if you are doing these comparison style of videos that Digital Foundry does. But either way, it is still something that I think is a bad look on Xbox, and they definitely need to get this fixed, because generally this is probably just an update that they haven't launched yet on the Xbox version of the game. So here's an article here from Game Rant saying another Xbox first-party game looks better on the PlayStation 5. It says the third of Xbox's multi-platform efforts on PS5, Sea of Thieves reportedly boasts a superior visuals on the Sony machine. A recent analysis comparing the Series XS and PS5 versions of the Sea of Thieves revealed the latter pulling ahead on the graphical front. So specifically, they say after endless whirlwind of rumors, Xbox announced in February that it would be releasing those 4 games, and we've seen Hi-Fi Rush, which had, I guess, slightly better shadows of some sort. I mean, you really had to focus on it to see that. Then there was also Pentiment, which had initially at launch, but that's all been patched up now on Xbox and they're on par, but it had an 120 FPS mode. And I mean, nobody is really going to notice with Pentiment the 120 FPS versus the 60 FPS. It really isn't going to make any difference in how you experience the game, but still from an optics point of view, totally understand why that would look bad on Xbox themselves. Now here with Sea of Thieves, we are seeing something kind of similar to what we saw with Hi-Fi Rush, with just very under the microscope differences when it comes to the actual shadow quality, slightly sharper on the PlayStation 5 version, and as well as with the draw distance. They say here the PS5 also draws distant foliage detail slightly better than the Xbox Series X. It's more comparable with the ultra settings on the PC. So those are two of the major differences here if you're comparing the Series X and the PS5 version. And again, you really have to look under a microscope and do these comparison videos to notice it. But this is the issue here when it comes from the Xbox first party studios, is everybody talking about it and these articles popping up where for the optics of it, if you're a Xbox gamer, if you have an Xbox Series X and that's where you've invested all your time and money, you may feel like you are getting the short end of the stick from the first party studios that are supposed to be giving you the best experience, as it is a first party game. So that's where this issue comes in. Now it says here, both current gen consoles offer a crisp 3840 by 2160p without temporal anti-aliasing resolution, but the frame rate comparison is interesting. Again, it says 60 FPS is the default goal for Sea of Thieves, but the Series X version suffers from dropped frames due to frequent frame time spikes, possibly due to network play. They say the PS5 is a little smoother in this regard, with the spikes occurring sporadically, but not as much as the Microsoft console. And again, that's just an FPS thing. It depends where you are in the game. Those spikes and drops happen pretty much with all games on these consoles, where depending on what goes on within the screen, if there's a lot of stuff going on, if there are a lot of enemies on screen, things like that, you will potentially see some drops. And it really depends how big of a drop it is for how it's going to affect your gameplay. It says, however, the PS5 version had a glaring issue where it would freeze and require a complete reboot of the game. So the FPS thing isn't really a big difference there. They both had some small issues and then also some bigger issues, so they kind of offset. But again, this isn't the first time this has happened. This is with 3 games that we are seeing just some slightly under a microscope differences that end up looking better on the PlayStation 5. And from the Xbox perspective, what I'm thinking is going on here is that they just haven't gone in and really optimized the game past where it is right now on the Xbox version. And when they're creating this PlayStation 5 version, they're bringing up to the current best optimization, which is obviously unacceptable as a first party studio. And from the Xbox point of view, I mean, you have to make sure that before you're setting these games out to the PlayStation 5, that the Xbox version is at the same level, because it's just going to look terribly optically, which is kind of what we have seen happen throughout this weekend. Everybody talking about it, and now Xbox is in this situation again where they're going to have to put out the update and probably bring it up to par, or just kind of address what is going on here in the future, because now the question is always going to be asked when Xbox brings one of their first party games over to PlayStation is that version going to be the better version? Now, for the majority of people like myself, I don't really care that much because I'm not playing these games, and I know visually if I was playing it, I would see absolutely zero difference between the 2 versions. But I know about it because we see these major comparisons here that Digital Foundry does do. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments overall. Does you care about these small details or minor differences? And do you think it really has any effect on the Xbox itself? All right, let's jump over here and let us talk about a game coming to Xbox Game Pass to launch on console. It's also on PC. But Cities Skylines 2, looks like the console edition has been delayed. They just put out a quick announcement here saying, we have been struggling to get Cities Skylines 2 to the necessary levels of optimization for a console release, but are now hopeful that an upcoming build delivery in April will demonstrate sufficient progress for us to progress with a release candidate and then a release build targeted for October. Before we have seen and evaluated the progress made in these builds, however, we will not be able to confirm the release date. And even then, some uncertainty always remains. Our ambition is to deliver the experience that you all deserve at launch, but it will take time. So if you're looking to play Cities Skylines 2 on the Xbox console, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. However, if you do have a PC, you will be able to actually just jump in and play that right now. It says, in the meantime, if you have a beefy enough PC, you can play the game right now through Xbox Game Pass. So again, it's the console version kind of falling behind here. We saw something similar to this with the Warhammer 40,000 Darktide release, where they had to release it on PC first and then bring it out to console later, just because of all of the optimization. Again, we also saw something similar with the Baldur's Gate 3, where they had to delay the release on the Xbox console because of the Xbox Series S. So we don't know exactly what is going on here, but they're obviously having some issues here with the Game Pass release to make sure that the game is running smoothly. And again, I always say delays are better. Make sure that the game comes out in a good state and in a smooth state, rather than having to fix it after its release. And then you get a bunch of people jumping in and falling off because the game is bad. And a lot of those people aren't going to be going back, even if it has really improved its overall quality, unless you have something like happened with Fallout, where they put out a TV show which boosts the numbers. That brings us over here to the next thing I want to talk about, which we've kind of been talking about over the last week or so, and that is just a major boost in the Fallout video game numbers, whether that's Fallout 76 or Fallout 4. It has skyrocketed since the TV show release. Now, I'm slowly going through the TV show, just finishing up episode number 3. I think it is phenomenal. I am not the biggest TV guy. I just don't have time to watch TV shows and play video games. Whenever I have free time, I decide to play video games, but I definitely made a conscious effort here to watch the Fallout show, and for at least as slowly as I'm watching it, still watching it. It is really, really good. I really like what they have done here. It's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, video game adaptation TV show series in recent times that I have watched. So that has really helped with these games increase in the player numbers. And Fallout 76, which I think is going to be the biggest beneficiary of the TV show popping off, because when Fallout 76 released, it got tons and tons of negativity, and the game has greatly improved since then. But now nobody, like I said, we were talking about Cities Skylines, people fall off when the game is bad at launch. A lot of people just don't go back, but now they are going back and they're seeing how much better the game is. And this is pushing Fallout 76 to be this all-time concurrent player count on Steam. Once again, it says here, on Steam, the game has seen its highest player count ever, with 64,083 playing the game concurrently on Saturday. So who knows how much higher this is going to go. I know I've downloaded it now because of all the hype around it, and I'm going to be jumping in. It says it smashes the previous record, which was set only last week at under 40,000. So that is big. I mean, that's a nice jump to where this game was. And as I said, because they've improved on it so much, you're going to have people playing it and actually enjoying the experience. And I think Fallout 76 is a game right now that if you're Bethesda and your Xbox, you're looking at this and you're saying, well, people are waiting for Fallout 5 because that's kind of where all the hype has also been around, which is going to be the future of the Fallout series. Put a lot more resources into Fallout 6. Make sure this game is up to the highest standards possible. Get some new content out for it continuously and keep people playing this game. It's probably one that now, when the people jump in, they're not going to fall off right away. It is in a good state, but make sure that they're playing it for a long time, especially after being hyped for the TV show, being hyped for Fallout 5. I think it is a huge thing Xbox to take advantage of here going forward. And I can't wait to see what they have in store for the future now, between now and then whenever Fallout 5 does come out, for the content going into Fallout 76. So pretty cool there. And I mean, Fallout 4 is also seeing a massive spike in players. Fallout 4 has 140k concurrent players on Steam after the Fallout TV show success, which is just absolutely crazy. You can see here in game 980,000 people playing Fallout 4. So Fallout has just been a huge gain since the TV show did launch. Okay, let's talk Stellar Blade. This is going to be a major release this upcoming week, and we already know about just the game itself. There's a demo, there's been controversy, so I think this game is going to do very well, because whenever there's controversy and the game is actually good, I think it really propels the game to sell even more copies than it previously would have. But now we know here, which, I mean, this is good because you want to see the original version of this game. Stellar Blade will be uncensored in all regions, and this is something that we've seen happen before, where games have different versions of it based on the region. They censor it more in certain parts of the world versus other parts of the world, and luckily this is not going to be happening. It says here, a post from the game's X account reads, Stellar Blade offers the same uncensored version in all countries, including the Japanese version. And there's also, they say, the demo was released on March 29th, and everybody was playing so much the game that the actual official X count had advised players to go easy on it, with players racking up 50 hours of play on the demo alone. I guess they were thinking, we don't want people getting too worn out before the actual release of the game, so they go out and buy it, telling people to stop playing it. So the game is coming out this week on April 26th on Friday. So if you are interested in it, go check out the demo. I played the demo. I think it's awesome. So I'm pretty excited for this game. We'll eventually end up playing it. Ending off here with a pretty big rumor, but obviously take this with a major grain of salt, because the rumor also holds it to a place where it could happen, and if it doesn't happen, then you're not even held accountable for the rumor, because it could just fall apart. So take it with a grain of salt. It may mean nothing, but this is according to Special Nick from Xbox Era, saying PlayStation is in a very early preliminary discussion to bring Helldivers 2 to Xbox. Then also follows it up and says there are very early discussions and they could fall apart. So I think this would make a ton of sense. Honestly, Helldivers 2 is a game. Multiplayer is done extremely well on PlayStation. It's kind of their golden child games as a service multiplayer game right now. Has tons of concurrent players. It is not falling off. It is a fun game. And it is published by Sony, but not developed by one of their first parties. So they very well could get into discussions. You want to make more money off of this on other platforms. It just would make complete sense. And I could see Helldivers 2 eventually ending up on the Xbox platform. It's already on PC. It's already on PlayStation. And PlayStation may look at the player base that Xbox has, this type of games that they like, the style of games, and say, hey, we'll try to bring in more money, get more return on investment for Helldivers 2, and we'll put it on another platform to open it up to even more players. So I could see it happening. It may not, but I think it would be honestly a great move for this game. Then you could also have like different parts of the world being saved by the different gamers depending on where they are playing. Like you could have a PC side, a PlayStation side, an Xbox side, and eventually all working together. Like it would be a super cool thing they could do here. So I hope this happens. But again, it's a very, very early rumor. And as he says, they're just in early discussion, so it could fall apart. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.